president of the San Diego Bowl Game Association, Ted Tollner. Ted, I feel like...
Welcome back. We've had you on the show like 3 or 4 times.
You're a regular now.
You know what? I love your guys' energy. I really love your energy. So anything you want to go to, let me know what it is here. We'll take care of it.
Fantastic. That's the best thing I've heard the whole time we've been down here.
Carte blanche.
Yeah.
First off, it's great to be here. You weren't lying about the weather. This is amazing. Yet we're in sweatshirts.
It doesn't get any better than this right now. Here we're sitting out here in the morning. We got the boats behind us, a beautiful blue sky, a great location. So we're happy to have you guys here. We really are.
We only have one complaint, that there wasn't a mariachi band awaiting
There was
our
one for
arrival.
BYU. There wasn't one for us.
Well, you know why? I mean, midnight we had to get a second mariachi group. One of them, their hours were up by the time you guys got in here. But I'm glad everything worked out. It was a slow start for both Wyoming and BYU as far as everybody getting here. But now everything's going real well.
You do a lot of preparation throughout the year to get ready for the bowl game. So what's it like to have the teams down here and finally be able to roll out the red carpet?
Well, it's really what it's all about, you know, and it's really special for me because it's a new part of it. I'm used to the other side where you're the coach and you're coming in and bringing a team and you want your guys to have a good experience. The other side's a lot more difficult in many ways, I'll tell you. There's so much to it. We have a lot of volunteers that make this work. Now, we have a bowl association group, but there's a whole bunch of redcoats that make it go. And it's amazed me on the variety of the areas that have to be covered, from lodging to meals to the whole thing, to getting you to practice sites, things that just, you know, when you come in as a team, you want those things taken care of. And so it's a new experience for me being on the other side.
You have planned a number of events, and let's talk about some of the things that the guys are going to do over the next 3 days, starting with today. What's on the docket for BYU and Wyoming leading up to the actual football game?
Well, they'll practice this morning. You know, get up, have their meetings, look at film, and they'll practice this morning. This afternoon is a SeaWorld trip. They're both going down there about the same time, so it's a great location down there. And this evening we have the Battle of the Bands and the Gas Lamp, and then the normal hospitality rooms. Tomorrow we got a luncheon on the Midway, which is a great experience, and then we'll play the football game. So here's what the mix of trying to have enough for the players and coaches to do and yet still do their job, you know, and that's the fine line. Sometimes in the bowl games we want to do too much, and the coaches and players, they want to get ready and play a good football game. I mean, that's the point of it, but also to have some fun. So the mix of the variety of fun things to do outside of football and still being prepared to play the game they want to play, represent BYU the way they want on the field on Wednesday's game. And so that's kind of what you have to figure out, what that is. And the coaches help us. I mean, they help us on what they think is reasonable for their players to be involved in and be ready to play a game.
It's an interesting balance because you have families that come from a lot of the administration. In the case of BYU, a lot of, you know, there's some married players, some have kids and whatnot.
Yeah.
So there's more strollers around here than normal.
Yeah.
But it's fun to have this experience for everybody. In '81, as the BYU quarterback coach, you played in the Holiday Bowl, or excuse me, coached in the Holiday Bowl. What do you remember what you did down here?
Oh, yeah.
In your experience?
Yeah, and I had coached here prior to that. I was the offensive coordinator at San Diego State and then went up there with Lavelle. When Doug Scoville came down here, we kind of switched positions. And so I knew the different areas, but I still enjoyed it, you know, to come in as a visiting team. And at that time, we were staying in a different location. But I was impressed, even though I had been here 8 years prior to that. You know, so I can imagine. And really, that you want the families and the players to really, and your alumni and your fans to have a great experience. And I think the Bowl Association has done that. I'm new to it. I mean, I've been involved since I retired from the NFL 4 years ago. So my role is growing as I get involved in it. But there's been so many people do these things for 39 years to make the combination of the Holiday and the Poinsettia Bowl be successful.
You mentioned that BYU and Wyoming was one of the potential matchups that you would have favored. Well, now it has come to fruition. What do you think about what the Cowboys and the Cougars bring to Qualcomm Stadium on Wednesday night?
You know, I love the matchup. I love it for a lot of reasons. I mean, the tradition of the games that were played over all the years, I mean, there is a legitimate rivalry there, and I like those. But more than that, I like the makeup of the teams. I mean, I've said this before. In BYU's case, to start off 1-3 and lose 3 games by a total of 6 points or 7 points, whatever that was, and then come back and run 7 of the last 8 with maybe the tough, I don't know what you guys have said about the toughness of the schedule. I think it's one of the most difficult schedules BYU has ever played. And when you start off like that, you better have not only a solid coaching staff, which is a brand new staff finding their way, and you better have great character on the team to stay focused and come back and win 7 out of 8 and come here. Well, and to the same degree, Wyoming has some of that, in that last year they were 2-10. They're picked last this year, and they come in first in the Mountain Division of the conference. And so when you get teams with that kind of character makeup, I think that makes for a great game, because you've got quality individuals competing that don't let negative things happen and destroy them. They just fight through it, and now we're going to have a heck of a football game.
And I like the star power of this as well.
Yeah.
The Tanner Mangum, Jamal Williams,
yeah,
Josh Allen, Brian Hill. There's some good players in this game.
Well, both teams have a top running back and a top quarterback, even though your quarterback, you know, hasn't played all year, but he played all last year. It's not like you got a guy that hasn't played. I mean, he had a tremendous year a year ago. And yes, Jamal Williams and Brian Hill, runners. There's, you know, we got a runner here in town, J.D. Pumphrey, who's a very good back, but they're in that league too. And so, you know, we're fortunate in the quality of players and the character of the teams, and now we're going to have a heck of a game, in our opinion.
Talking with Ted Tollner here in San Diego, BYU Sports Nation, live from the Manchester Grand Hyatt San Diego, part of the San Diego Harbor. Kevin McKinney is on the Wyoming radio staff, color analyst, and he told us that this season has been magical for the Cowboys. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. Looking back, this might be their best season in 20 years.
Yeah.
The last time they played BYU at a neutral site in 1996. So it's just one of many angles that make this game very, very intriguing.
Well, and it's legitimate. I mean, it is. They've been down for a while, and they've gone through coaching staffs and trying to bring it back. And it's, you know, they hire from, you know, Craig Bowl from North Dakota State, who's used to winning, brings a staff and assimilates one, and they change the attitude in really a short period of time. No, I think it really is super when people can turn programs around. It's fun to watch and try to evaluate why. How did they do it?
We should have called this segment TED Talks. I just realized that. I was late in getting to that.
No, it's an uplifting, motivating thing.
Exactly.
TED Talks on BYU Sports Nation.
Yeah.
For fans that are maybe not here yet, but are coming down to San Diego, how can they get involved in the festivities?
Well, if they're coming in today, you know, they'd have to get out to SeaWorld if they had time to do that. But if they can't do that and they're coming in today, get down to the Gas Lamp tonight. The bands are fun. I mean, they have their way of battling too. I mean, you have your gridiron stuff that's a battle, but bands got great pride too. They want to outplay each other and outmaneuver and all the things that a band does. So that's fun. I mean, that part of it's fun, and it's downtown where there'll be people that are fans of the game, and then there'll be people that are just downtown to have dinner, and they say, wow, what's going on here? So definitely go down to that tonight.
Are players given the mic at all during that? Because it got interesting last year between BYU and Utah at that.
Well, sometimes that's scheduled and not scheduled. I'm not going to declare on that one.
Okay, good. That was the most interesting part of the pregame festivities last year.
Competition is competition, whatever it is, whether it's bands or football.
Yeah, exactly.
Ted, great to talk to you, as always.
I love it, guys.
TED Talks.
Good luck to you.
Enjoy
having you down here. Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you Wednesday.
All right, we will be there.